think that's where a lot of people go bad with a pup. They throw them in a pen and just throw feed to them every day. And to me, you got to make a connection with them. Some guys don't agree with me on that, but I think you got to have a good bond with a dog.
It's real simple, I think, with a pup, and a lot of people don't understand it. When a pup is ready to start, it will start. You can't force a pup to start, and you can't force a pup to treat. It has to do it on its own.
Hello and welcome to the Stark Outdoors podcast. I'm your host Clayton Stark, and today's podcast is going to feature an interview with Austin Terrell. Austin Terrell is a pretty well-known competition handler, and he's been coon hunting for quite a while, and he has a really interesting story. But before we get into this interview, I'll give you guys a few updates about me and what I've been up to. I've recently updated some of my filming equipment, and if you follow me on Patreon, you've already seen what that is and kind of what it's going to be. I made some upgrades because I actually have some big projects coming up. As many of you know, I had the Houndsman Spotlight series, and I'm actually going to be moving on to another series, and this is going to be a little bit more professional and in-depth. I'm still going to have my regular videos that I do every Sunday. I'm just adding a new project that's going to have a higher production value, and the first person I'm getting with for this new project is actually Randy Smith of Lone Pine Kennels, and we're going to get together in March and start producing that for you guys. I also have some other trips planned. I've had a lot of you reach out to me and want to go hunting. Unfortunately, I can't get to them all right away just because I can't be in multiple places at once. But I am getting together with Danny Nichols and his family for some squirrel hunting in South Carolina like I do every year this time of year. I'm getting back together with Austin Terrell to make another coon hunting video. I'll be picking up a new Bluetick puppy from Matt Lingo out of Country Club. So there's a lot of great stuff coming. Also, I'll be covering the Tournament of Champions again. I'll be at Walker Days recording the Talk with Legends. So I'm going to be busy in the next few months. And I'm really excited to share it all with you guys, and I hope you're looking forward to that. And none of the stuff would be possible without you, so I appreciate your support, especially those on Patreon. Since they've updated the app on Patreon and allow me to post videos right to the app, and since I started doing that, the number of support and subscribers I've had on there has grown a lot. So for those out there who have been subscribed on Patreon for a long time and all the new ones, I really appreciate your support. And if you're interested in subscribing on Patreon, what that is, it's a social media app that's a paid subscription service where you can subscribe to see exclusive content, get in direct contact with me, see daily updates, live updates as I'm making the videos, and also make hunting requests. So if you want to get in direct contact with me or any of the other stuff that sounds interesting to you, make sure you go to patreon.com/starkoutdoors, or you can download the Patreon app and look me up on there as well. Depending on the subscription that you get, you can also get access to merch like t-shirts, and I really appreciate you guys for supporting me on there. I'd also like to thank my sponsors. I'd like to thank Conkey's Hound and Hunting Supply, and I actually just got a new boot dryer and some Bama socks from them, and it's really nice. I encourage you guys to check that out. If you need some new clothes, make sure you check out Coon Dog Wear. They have some great t-shirts and sweatshirts and hats and about anything you'd need. If you're in the market for a new tracking system, make sure you check out Dogtra with the Pathfinder and the Pathfinder 2. You can use code STARK5 to save some money with your purchase on there. If you're in the market for a new light, I highly suggest you check out Big Dog Lights. I've used them for about 12 years now. I haven't had a single issue with one of their lights yet. They're very durable and dependable, and if you buy directly from Big Dog, you can use code STARK10 to save some money with your purchase. I'd also like to thank Bayou Legacy Game Calls with the Tree Shaker Coon Squaller, Ringtails and Tall Tails Hunting Supply and Taxidermy, Gun Dog House Doors, and my latest sponsor, Coon Hunter Supply with Razor Hunting Gear. I actually got a really nice Razor hunting vest and some new boots. I'll be doing a video for you guys, doing a complete gear review here soon. I'm really liking what I got from them, and I think you'll like it too. And that's just kind of what I've been up to, and I had a great time sitting down with Austin Terrell and look forward to making another coon hunting video with him, and I hope you enjoy this interview. All right, now do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Austin Terrell. So my dad got me into coon hunting. He started me off real young, introducing me to a bunch of different dogs. We mostly hunted black and tans and walkers. A lot of other guys from our hunting club got me into hunting. A couple of them are Leon Childers, and I first started hunting for Jimmy Wills. He got me, going and handling dogs for him. We won a couple hunts, a few big hunts, and that more or less got me into it, going to the hunts and everything. And my dad, He would take me to youth hunts every weekend. Him and Noel Allen, we would load up and we would go all over, and we had a lot of fun doing it. So
when you started, it was with a lot of competition hunting right off the bat?
We pleasure hunted a lot, hide hunted. We would, every season hide hunt, but we'd go to a lot of hunts as well. Youth hunts, my dad, he won some bigger hunts as well. And that's what really got me into it, was my dad.
So how did they teach you? Did they kind of just throw you into it, or did you do like practice when you pleasure hunted?
Yeah, so we would practice out pleasure hunting. Me and my dad and a couple buddies from the hunting club. We would practice. A bunch of us get together and just have a ball doing it. And my dad, he showed me a lot different ways. Learn the rules was the number one thing he always taught me. If you're going to play the game, you need to know the rules, and that's kind of how we did it. So.
Okay. And you said what was your first dog you hunted with?
First dog I hunted with, my dad, he had black and tans. They were out of Set 'em Up Ace. We hunted them. He had one of the youngest Grand Knights at that time out of Set 'em Up Ace. He hunted him for a while and then just studded him out. And then we just, hunted black and tans mostly. The first dog I owned was a dog, it was out of Chubby. Jerry Farmer owned him. I worked all summer cutting grass and all that good stuff, saving my money, and I ended up buying her. It was a Walker female. So
was Ace the first dog you competition hunted?
The first dog I competition hunted was a Walker male dog. It was out of Nocturnal Nitro, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
When did you start hunting for other people?
I started hunting for other people when I was probably about 15 is when I started hunting for other people.
And did someone just ask you to, or did you just decide?
Yeah, it was some local guys around the club, around my club. It was Jimmy Wills, actually. He was the one. Him and Daryl Sparks. I started hunting dogs for them and doing some good with them, But I always hunted my dogs, me and my dad, and then I took it to another level.
Yeah.
So.
Do you remember what dog that was?
The first one for Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
The first one I hunted for Jimmy was Call Me the Breeze. I doubled up with her at the Fall Super Stakes. Won a lot of hunts, different hunts with her, open event hunts, bigger hunts, breed hunts. She was directly out of Gunsmoke, Leon Childers' dog. Yeah.
Do you remember how long you hunted her for?
I hunted her for a few years, and then I hunted some other dogs for him. That he had some younger dogs, and then I hunted another dog that he owned. His name was Mason Jar, and we did some good with him as well.
When did you stop hunting for him?
I can't remember when I stopped hunting for him. It was probably, I hunted for him for about 3 or 4 years, and then I kind of went back to hunting some dogs for myself, black and tans. Trained a few of those and done some good with them, and and sold them. And then I went back for just hunting dogs for people, young dogs, and handling all kinds of different dogs for people. So,
who was the next person you really worked with?
The next person I really worked with was, I have to say, Seth Wimpy out of Georgia.
Oh, so
yeah.
How did you get hooked up with him? Just through going to hunts?
Yeah, going to hunts and stuff. And I really wanted to hunt a black dog at the PKC World Hunt that year, just something different, And he called me up and said, "Hey, I got a dog here," and I hunted him and won a couple early rounds with him. Made a mistake, in the cast. Made a bad call, but he was a really, really solid old dog. And then he got me hooked up with another dog he had. His name was Big Time Reggie. We did a lot of winning with him, a lot. So I hunted for him for about 3 years. And then I hunted other dogs for people as well, just young dogs.
Is there any more since then, or up until now?
Yeah, I'm hunting right now for Joe Mullins, and he has the Wicked Ambush dog that we placed second place with at the Super Stakes. He's going to, we're going to hunt him in some more hunts probably, and all that good stuff.
Okay.
So.
Do you want to, if you can remember them all, at least the biggest wins that you've had?
Yeah, some of the biggest wins I've had would have to be Black and Tan Days, placing, over there at UKC, top 100 of the World Hunt. I won first place with Reggie at the zones for the qualifying. I won the first place for that, and then we went over to the Iowa Top 100 that year. Doubled up a lot of different dogs at Super Stakes. Won some pro classics, state races. I got placed second in Georgia State Race PKC, and legacy hunts. I won a few of those. Second place at the Super Stakes one year with Ambush. That was one of the biggest ones.
So what are your plans going forward, competition-wise?
My plans going forward is hopefully I'd like to win the Super Stakes, and I'd like to win the King of Hunt at Black and Tan Days with my dad's Black and Tan.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, I've came close every year to winning it, placing over there. Last year I won with Chad McCoy's dog, Blackie was her name. I won the Champion of Champions over there, the whole thing. So that was pretty big too.
Yeah, I've hunted with that dog. She's
a nice dog.
She's a nice dog.
Yeah, yep, definitely.
So you've been doing this for a while, but kind of moving away from competition, not more like training dogs. How do you like to start pups?
I like to start pups. Like I tell everybody, every pup is different that people send me or I train for myself. I like to start them, hunt them a little bit with older dogs, just taking my time with them, seeing what I need to work on one thing at a time. I don't like to work on a bunch of things at once in one night. I think, hey, what is this pup, his biggest hole? I try to work on that with him, and then I move forward from that. I like to show him a few cage coons. I don't really like to show him, the coon in the trap. I like to turn it loose and let him try to figure it out.
Yeah,
that's the best way, and I like to do it with the pups. And always make sure they're healthy, up to date on their shots, and wormed out real good. You want to make sure your pups are, healthy before they can perform.
Is there a certain age you like messing with them more, or just kind of?
I'll start taking them with me and getting them used to the box and everything, so they're not sick. I like to take them when they're about 4 or 5 months old. Start riding them and all that good stuff in the truck, and then just letting them run with the older dog, and go from there.
What's the earliest you've had a dog start?
The earliest I've had dogs start would be about 5-6 months old. They'd run a tree of hot coon on their own.
Yeah, that seems to be everyone I've talked to. It's usually that's if the rare ones that start really early, it's usually 5 or 6 months old, somewhere around there.
Yep.
When do you, if you've been working with a dog for a long time, when do you kind of think it's not one you might like?
Well, when they're really not consistent for me, that's the biggest thing for me is consistency. If they're not real consistent, then usually I'll move them on. I have sold some really good dogs, but that's when the money got right, and I had other dogs to hunt for people or whatever. But I've always looked for consistent and what good they have and the bad points, and kind of try to cancel all that out. Usually, I usually give up on them is when they're not, consistent.
Right. What about, have you done much breeding? Or just kind of getting pups from other people?
No, I haven't done a whole lot of breeding. Never was really into that. My dad was, like I said, he had a dog directly out of Set 'em Up Ace. He bred him a lot, and he likes doing that. I'm more of the going to the hunts and hunting older dogs. To be honest with you, just they're easier to hunt. And, I'll take on some pups, and hunt them for people, and all that good stuff. But they can be a headache.
Yeah, and a lot of times too.
Yep.
You said you went to a lot of youth hunts when you were a kid.
Yeah, I went to a lot of youth hunts growing up. Like I said, my dad would take me a bunch. He was just always helping me out, showing me, hey, if you're gonna go, you need to know the rules. And we'd practice a bunch. Leon Childers, he would take me a bunch, different hunts. We went to Texas one year to the Lone Star hunt. He took me, and that was just an awesome experience. We went hog hunting, you name it. And along the way, we stayed at J.C. Ellis's house down there, and we just had a blast. And he was always great to me and took me hunting and all that good stuff. And then I would go out in the summertime and spend with my cousin, and we would go fishing. Growing up, we would go fishing all day, and then go hunting all night, and we had a lot of fun doing it. So
do you do any other type of hunting besides coon hunting?
Yeah, I'll do a little bit of squirrel hunting, pheasant hunting, rabbit hunting, stuff like that. My uncles and grandpa, they were big into the mountain feist. They had Cadillac Jacks, dogs out of him.
Okay.
And they were good friends with Ed Bates and all them guys, and they had some really good dogs.
Yeah.
So,
if you don't mind
you're good.
talking about it, what, like, if someone is new getting into competition hunting,
Yeah.
what are some of the most important things they should do or consider?
Some of the important things they should do is to read the rules and to know their dog. If you're going to go to a hunt, try to know your dog. Whatever you got to do to get to know it better. Hunt it on good nights, bad nights, know all of its different barks and, different what track it's running, if it's going to go in there and just, get treed quick or, struggle a little bit or make some locates or ground barks that are different. You need to know all that about, your dog. And the biggest thing is to know the rules. If you're going to compete, you have to know the rules. That's the biggest thing.
How much, in your opinion, if you don't mind answering this,
Oh,
how
you're
much
fine.
is, when you're winning a cast, let's say, how much of it is you versus, like, your handling versus the dog? Not just you, but just basically, can a good handler take an average dog and do a lot, or do you think anymore it takes a really good dog to be consistent?
It goes both ways. I've seen a lot of guys that are great handlers and know the rules. Some of these guys don't have a clue, and they talk them into something, or just beat them by a rule. And that's just how it is. It's a game. That's what I tell everybody. And a lot of people take that personal, but if you don't know the rules, like I say, you don't need to really be hunting in the hunts.
I always wondered that because I've been in some competition hunts,
Right.
but not a ton. So I just always wondered, especially now, the way social media, there's so much talk about stuff like, I'm sure
There is,
it
yeah.
was like that before, but I think it's even worse now.
Yeah, it is.
So I just wondered, I was going to start asking people that, how much they think, is it 50-50 dog handler? Or does it every situation different? Probably.
Yeah, I agree with every situation is different because I've seen nights where the dogs just all of them look good and just a guy have better strike or another tree and wins, but most of the time it's 50-50 for me. It's going to go with the handler who's in the cast or the dogs, but I usually like to be on the cast where everyone knows the rules, just call their dog and whoever wins it. That's the cast I like to be on usually.
I'd imagine in most cases, if your dog's just treeing more coon than everyone else's, like that's it's not going to be too hard to win that cast.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah.
Depends on who's in your cast.
Yeah. That's why I've just been thinking about that a lot lately, because you'd assume most times the dog that performs the best will win, and I assume the rules are written in a way to which that happens most times.
Yeah, most
the
of the
hunts I've been on, I haven't seen or had to deal with anyone really trying to do anything
Shady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I personally haven't experienced it.
Yeah.
Then again, the hunts I've been on have been either really little hunts or really, really big hunts.
Right.
Where there's live TV crews and stuff. So
Yep.
that type of stuff will eliminate a lot of stuff.
It will.
And I usually have a camera with me. So I'm sure a lot of that stuff doesn't happen because there's a camera crew there.
Right.
But I imagine
right.
if it was kind of like a medium-sized hunt leading up to a bigger hunt when there's no camera crews there, some of that stuff might come out more often.
Yeah, it can get a little ugly. Yeah.
So speaking of that, do you have any stories like that where you've experienced some shady stuff on cast you want to share?
I've experienced some real shady stuff. I've seen some guys take off their hunting belts and get into each other's face just over some crazy stuff, and when no one could even win, the hunts that sometimes. But yeah, I've seen a lot of shady stuff, but definitely not going to name no names.
No,
on
don't
here.
wait, no names.
No names, but yeah, I've seen a lot of people get talked into stuff. A lot of younger guys usually, or some of the older guys that just didn't know the rules. But yeah, I've seen my fair share on casts. People arguing, cussing, fighting, throwing scorecards, all that good stuff.
That goes back to what you said about knowing the rules.
Yep.
Because then if you know the rules and you're just focused on you and your dog, I assume that would eliminate a lot of stuff like that, where you're not kind of going back and forth with anyone else.
Yeah, it will. It'll eliminate a lot of that stuff, definitely.
Was it worse when you were a kid, or is it worse now?
I haven't, in the last 5 or 6 years, I haven't seen a whole lot of crazy stuff go on. I've heard a lot of different guys, this and that, or at the local hunts. But years ago at my hunting club and around, there was a lot more bigger guys at the time, hunting, and you had to know your rules. If you were going to a hunt, you didn't know your rules, they wouldn't they would eat you alive. They wouldn't give you no breaks, because they were, either running for the state race and all that good stuff. Which when you're running for that stuff, it can get a little, you can get a little crazy on that stuff, because I ran for them, and it's hard to run for truck tickets and state races and all that. It's fun, but it takes a lot of time and dedication.
Yeah. If you've been hunting with dogs for any amount of time, you know how important a good quality bloodline is. So if you're in the market for a new dog, keep these stud dogs in mind. AKC World Champion, PKC Platinum Champion, Grand Night Champion, Davis's Rosedale Frogger. And also check out PKC Gold Champion, UKC Dual Grand Night Champion, Buck Creek Croson. Frogger is owned by Burchell Davis, and Croson is owned by Chuck Dunlap. So make sure next time you're in the market for a young dog, or maybe breeding your female, do some research and check out these dogs. So I assume you weren't planning on going to that PKC hunt they canceled in Arkansas?
No, I wasn't planning on. We didn't have nothing this year qualified for that one, but
I figured, because you said go this weekend. So what are we hunting tonight?
We're hunting tonight Wicked Ambush. He placed second place at Super Stakes. He's a pretty solid dog. Nothing fancy. He just moves around good, and when he trees, he usually show you a coon or a den. And then I'm also hunting a spring 1-year-old he's out of Big Lee, and he's a pretty solid little dog. I'm going to be hunting him at the Super Stakes this year, spring, and that's what we'll be hunting tonight.
So what's that ambush dog out of?
He's out of Wicked Vapor, and I forget his bottom side, but he's directly out of Wicked Vapor.
How old is he?
He is 4 now.
How old is the other dog?
I think he's 1.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you focus on one registry? You try and...
No, I hunt both registries. I hunt UKC and PKC. That's usually what I hunt.
Have you hunted any pro sport hunts?
I haven't yet. We're going to, though. We're going to hunt a few of those as well. Yeah.
So you said you squirrel hunted. Did you competition squirrel hunt at all, or just pleasure?
We did a little bit, but my uncle and grandpa, they did. They had, like I said, they had some real good squirrel dogs out of Cadillac Jack, and they actually had a world squirrel dog for the treeing contest. They won it, world champion. Huh. But yeah, they hunted a lot of hunts, squirrel hunts, all that good stuff.
You said you hunted pheasants too, so do you have any?
No bird dogs, no. I usually just hook up some guys, buddies. They take us out, or we go on some farms, or they turn them loose and we go and shoot them. It's a good time, all that stuff.
Anymore, that's about all you can do. There's no pheasants and stuff like that around anymore.
Yeah, there's none really around us no more either. It's crazy. So or quail, none of those.
No, there's not. Same up where I live. There's nothing like that.
So
all you have is coonhounds now, then?
Yep, that's all I have. Yeah. Yep, it's coonhounds, and I've been, like I said, I've been doing this for years and hunting different dogs for people and for myself. And it's been a blessing.
Do you have anything that you're hunting like pup wise right now, or just those 2 dogs?
Nope, just those 2 dogs.
When you're looking to get into another partnership or work with someone else, how would you do that? Like, what's your process? Do you hunt with a dog first?
So what I usually do is there's usually guys that's texting me, wanting me to hunt a young dog or pay me or whatever, to go to some hunts. Usually I'll, go hunting with them, see how they are, or they'll text me, and usually I believe what they say, the guys I deal with now. Yeah. They send me pretty good dogs, all different, different kinds, and it's been pretty good for the most part.
Yeah. Some people hear this, because I see a lot of people that want to get into doing that. How would you tell people that might not have connections or know people kind of start getting into that, hunting dogs for people?
Yeah, like I tell everybody, you got to be honest with them and tell them the good and the bad, and keep it between you and the owner. You can't go run around local clubhouses and bad-mouthing people and their dogs when that guy's paying you to hunt. He's putting food on the table. That's how I've always looked at it. You just go out there, hunt them, keep the guys updated, and usually the guys you deal with, they'll be happy with that. Like I always tell everybody, if you're hunting a dog for somebody, you keep that between the owner and the guy hunting the dog.
Yeah.
Just be honest, and when they send you to a hunt, you go to that hunt, and if you're hunting for them and they want you to go to these hunts, you got to go, and they're paying you.
Yeah.
So that's how I've always looked at it. And that's how my dad's always taught me, if you're going to do something, you go all in and do it right.
What about someone, maybe not a kid, but like an older person looking to go to competition hunts, what could you kind of recommend them, how they would go about it?
Like we said earlier, probably just know the rules real well. Just, if you got questions, ask, other people or your good buddies that maybe has hunted a little more in the competition hunts, and they'll help you out, and all that good stuff.
Start small, I'd assume. Like, don't jump into some big...
Yeah, don't jump into the big hunts right away because probably it won't be good for you.
Yeah.
But you start around the local clubs, maybe some of the guys that you know around your clubhouse or you hunt with, go with a buddy, and if you have a good buddy or good hunting buddy, they'll take care of you and show you, the rules and all that good stuff.
What all breeds have you hunted?
I've hunted about every breed.
Yeah.
Black and tans, plots, leopard hounds, Blueticks, English, walkers, about everything. People have sent me over the years. They've sent me a lot of different dogs.
So, do you have a style of dog you like better?
I like them all really. If they're consistent and move around pretty good, I like them. And if I can win with them, I'm good with it.
Just so they tree coon.
Hustle. Yep. Hustle and tree coon and that's about it really.
Yeah. I think I've talked about this before with some other people, but a lot of people put way too much thought into everything else besides just hustling and tree and coon. There's too much worry about everything else, how the dog barks, not even necessarily strike points, just how it barks, like all these other, how it looks.
Yep. Like I said, if they go and give me 100% every night, I don't care what color they are, and they tree coon stay, and usually I like a dog stays to itself. If it trees another dog right off the bat in a hunt, that don't bother me one bit, because I'll get a piece of that pie and then I can get the rest to myself. That's how I've always looked at it, and it's
When did you hunt a leopard?
It was years ago. I had a guy send me one. He was from Georgia. He sent me one. And back then, I was only getting paid $350 a month and a bag of feed. But back then, that was great money for, I was still in high school.
Yeah.
And that was awesome money back then to me.
Yeah.
And that's when I did it.
Was he already finished when you got him?
He was a started dog.
Started?
Yeah.
That's one breed I've never seen tree a coon before.
Yeah, we had a guy at our hunting club. He had a leopard hound, and he was a pretty nice dog.
You hunt red bones before?
I've hunted red bones too. Yep.
You won any hunts with any red bones?
Never won any hunts with them. Just mostly young dogs at the time.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, man, I couldn't wait to go to the hunting club. We'd have a meeting every Tuesday night in a PKC hunt, and Leon Childers, he ran it then, and now I took over running it. And every Tuesday night, man, I would after school, I'd run off the school bus, get ready, we'd go. We had the meeting at 5:30. They'd be back here playing poker and cooking in this whole kitchen, and man, I had a lot of great times and memories with them guys. And they would take me hunting. After the hunt, we'd go pleasure hunting, and my mom, she'd be complaining and want me to come home to get some sleep for school the next day, because back then, they'd be smoking cigarettes in there and playing cards all night and coon hunting. You know how them coon hunters talk.
Yeah.
It was a blast growing up. I couldn't wait to go to the coon club.
I guess I ask this question all the time. What if you could narrow it down to one dog that you've hunted? Do you have a favorite?
I've had a lot of dogs I really like, but I have to say one of my all-time favorites was one that I hunted growing up. His name was Copper. I won a lot of youth hunts with him. That's the one me and my dad would, go to all the youth hunts and take me. He was a one bark tree dog. When he located, it was over. And that made it so easy.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, I was on a cast one night, and I had 500 plus or 5 1/4, and I would still be treeing him. I didn't know defense back then, a lot. And then my dad, when we got home at night, he said, "Man, you got to start playing defense, because you could get beat like that." And he was right, because it happened to me before. But I have to say, he was probably one of my favorites. I made him a grand show champion, a PKC champion, AKC champion, and a grand night. Growing up, he was probably one of my favorites, I have to say. So
you brought up defense. Do you want to explain kind of what that is to people that might not be too familiar with that?
Yeah. So what I call defense is when you have a very good score you want to try to play defense as much as you can. And that's what my dad and a lot of the guys from the club, they always told me that. So if you have a great score, you don't want to, if you don't have to tree, don't tree your dog. That's what I've always told some of the other guys getting into it. If you don't have to tree, don't tree.
Yeah.
So, and, if you got to take a last strike, take a last strike or tree your dog for a quarter, even, or whatever. But that's always been my motto. If you can play defense, play it. So.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify because some people, I'm sure they might not know exactly what that means.
Definitely.
I'd like to get some of that information out there just because there's so many people that, like you said, don't know the rules. And
for sure.
They might not think of stuff like that.
Yeah. Definitely. Like I tell everybody as well, you got to get in there and try it because, you got to learn different things because different things can happen in the hunts. And that's how I learned different scenarios and all that good stuff happening.
So what's probably the most important thing you've learned competition hunting?
The most important thing I've learned in competition hunting would have to be just know your dog really well and know the rules. And that's what I've always kind of stuck by.
When you're getting a dog ready for a hunt, do you have a certain thing you do leading up to it for all of them, or you just kind of take each dog different?
Each dog is different, and they're going to have bad nights and good nights, and you got to kind of weigh that in with the weather, how coon are moving, and just go from there. And usually, if I'm getting one ready, I'm going to be hunting it really hard, 5-6 nights a week, taking it to some local hunts, seeing what I got to do to work on it with other dogs. And that's how I've always done it. And that's how my dad, he told me how to do it. And that's what I've always stuck by.
I'm good with it if you are.
I'm good with it.
All right. Let's go to the woods. Well, that was a great interview, and I really enjoyed getting to meet him and get to know his story a little bit. I look forward to going hunting with him some more, and also the new projects coming up. I'm really looking forward to that, and spring's almost here, so I'm sure you're all excited for all that as well. And I personally just wanted to thank all my patrons now, because without you on Patreon especially, none of this would be possible. I'm going to do my best to pronounce your name right, and if I don't, just reach out to me and I'll correct it, so I'm sorry in advance. But these are the people who truly care about promoting hound hunting in a professional manner and helping me with my mission and growing our sport. So I'd like to thank Martin Flem, Alan Zimmerman, Eric Chandler, Philip Miller, Brandon, Dylan Honeycutt, Tyler Richardson, Tyler Friend, Parker Reese, Dalton Gillentine, Austin Burnett, Darnell Roberts, Rodney Weekle, Joe, Angela Cable, Brian, Sedarius Hunt, Blake, Justin Moore, Kendall Wynn, Derek Compton, Ryan Lehan, Kyle, Lawrence Anthony Hinnon, Mark Beard, Ryan Beck, Sam Waitley, Colton Dunlap, Brian Pollard, Mark Gallardo, Bobby Overby, Tom Stark, Brody Julian, Tyler, Nelson Poor, Michael Mitchell, Brandon Sutherland, Darrell Miller, Gregory Waterbury, and Micah Carter. Thank you guys for your support, and I really appreciate it and look forward to more of you getting on here and interacting because, like I said, I do post daily updates. And as I'm in the woods making videos, I also share videos on there as well. And I really, really appreciate all you guys on there that make this possible. And I look forward to making more of this stuff for you guys. And I'll talk to you next time. He ended up treeing 7/10 of a mile. I had my light on coming in, and he had another coon. So turned him loose 3 times. He had 3 coons.